Hi everyone, welcome to the Wargaming Parrot. I am David and today we're going to be talking about why cockatiels get scared, what scares them and how you can help them overcome these fears. So while this video is tailored towards cockatiels, a lot of these tips will apply to other birds, so if you have a conure or other parrot, please don't turn off now because you'll be able to apply some of these tips to them too. So as you can see, Mr. Chip is sitting on my head relaxing. We'll just let him crack on with that while we get on with my first point. So my first point is night frights. Cockatiels are very prone to something called night frights. That basically means something will spook them in the night. Could be a loose feather, could be anything at all, and they will start going crazy, flapping around and getting very stressed. This is very stressful for your cockatiels, and it's also very stressful for you as an owner. So it's very important to know what to do when it happens. I'd also like to say that it doesn't make you a bad owner if your cockatiels have night frights. It's not uncommon at all. It's just very important you know what to do when it occurs. So when your cockatiel's having a night fright, you notice, you're like, oh, I've got to get there and help them. The first things you need to do are turn on the light. Don't just walk in there in the dark because that'll just continue making them scared. Talk softly to them. So go over to their cage and talk softly, try and soothe them and calm them down. You can also provide them a small treat through the bars. That'll help distract them a little bit and sort of get their focus elsewhere. The next thing you need to do is check for injuries. Make sure they haven't knocked any blood feathers out, grazed themselves, hurt themselves. It's very important you do this just in case they are bleeding and they need some first aid. You can find some tips for bird first aid in my beginner's guide to cockatiel care, which I'll put a card for now. It's also important that you don't get them out because they'll be scared, they'll be worried, so they may start flapping around and hurt themselves further. So leave them in the cage, talk to them, just make sure they're okay. Once they've calmed down, you can turn off the lights again and put them back to bed. Which leads me on to my next point. These are sort of longer term solutions to night frights which may help. The two most common ones are don't make changes in the room late at night. For example, don't move furniture around, don't make big changes that are going to sort of change the dynamic of the room because this will scare them and it makes them more prone to night frights. The other easy solution is just give them a night light. If you provide them a night light, it allows them to see the surroundings, and if something does shift in the night, they can be like, okay, it's not that scary. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about cockatiel night frights, my partner Sophie has a video with them and I'll leave a card for that now. Cockatiels can also get spooked or scared about noises coming from outside or birds flying by the window, that sort of thing. When this occurs, it's important you just talk softly to them, soothe them and relax, get them to relax a little bit. You can relax too obviously. Get them to relax and just do not get stressed about it. You can also put some background noise on. We use like thunderstorm sounds or rainforest noises on YouTube, and this helps sort of mute any loud noise from outside. And this also is something you can do when you go out. So if you're worried about them spooking when you're out and about, you can just leave your computer on with YouTube running and you can just have some nice calming sounds for them. Another easy thing you can do is desensitize them to noises. So desensitization, it's very difficult to pronounce, is literally just getting them used to these things. So say for example they're scared of loud crashes. You bring in a pot and a pan once a day and you bash them around them and then take it out again. And then they get used to these noises. I'm also going to talk about supplements you can provide if your cockatiel gets very scared, but we'll talk about that a bit later in the video. Another common cause for cockatiels getting very scared and frightened is your home situation. Now, your home situation could change all the time. You know, people are constantly coming in and out, and it's all sorts of things going on. So it's important that you know what to do to alleviate some of this fear in them. Your cockatiel may be getting used to you. You may have just brought it home, in which case I have a video on bonding which you can watch, which I'll leave a card for here. But the most important thing to do when your cockatiel's getting used to a situation at home, all sorts of things, is just give them time. Don't force them into that situation all the time. Desensitize them slowly, let them get used to it. You can also reinforce them with treats to help make that situation less scary and less intimidating for them. Cockatiels can also get scared of new toys. You put a new toy in their cage, you have a new toy outside the cage, and it's like, I don't want to go anywhere near this, I hate it, and I'm going to fly away from it every time you put it near me. This is very common again. Cockatiels need training to be introduced to toys, so you can use positive reinforcement again. You can just give them a treat every time they go near that toy or peck it or interact with it. You just also need to give them time again. If that toy is scary, let them come at it at their own pace. Then they can learn it's not going to move, it's not going to attack them, and it's perfectly fine. Sophie has a video on introducing cockatiels to toys, which I'll leave a card for here if you're interested. Certain times of year can also make your cockatiel more prone to being frightened. For example, here Guy Fawkes night where loads of fireworks are going on, or in a case of America, 4th of July, that sort of thing, where fireworks are going off everywhere. It's very scary for not just cockatiels but loads of pets. And also other times of year, like for example Christmas, which is coming up, where people have parties and lots of people coming in and out, and it's just very scary and unsettling for cockatiels and parrots and just pets in general, as I said. So it's important to know what to do to try and help them through these times of year. One of the most important things I would suggest if you're trying to stop your cockatiel from getting scared during various times of year where lots of stuff is going on is maintain their routine as much as possible. For example, you have a party. If you can, I know it's difficult, try and wrap it up a little bit more promptly and go into another room so they can go to bed at their normal time. Or if you can't do that, move them to another room a few days before the party so they can get used to it and so they can be somewhere dark and maintain their routine. The other thing is keeping lights on while there's lots of noise going around. That extra light will help them see what's going on and help them just not get as stressed as they would do if they couldn't see what's happening or if there's loud explosions going on everywhere. You can also use background noise again to help cover up the noise or help reassure them that this is okay. And failing all of that, you can provide supplements again, which I'll talk about at the end of this video. That information is coming, but there's supplements that will help calm them down if all else fails. Vet visits are one of the scariest things for most pets, not just cockatiels. So when you're taking them to the vet, there's some things you can do to make it a little bit easier on them. One of the most important things you can do is plan ahead. So get them used to going in a travel cage. If they're used to their cage or just being in one room or in your house and suddenly you force them to a travel cage, that can be quite stressful. So get them used to going in and out of the travel cage with treats and with reinforcement. And that will help make it a little bit easier on them. You can also treat them while they're on the way to the vet. And when they get there, you can do dry runs, all sorts of things just to make that vet visit a little bit less stressful on them and just make it a more pleasant experience. So, another common cause of fear in cockatiels is when you introduce a new pet, a new bird into the mix, or even a baby. Some cockatiels will be completely fine with this, it just depends how used they are to other animals in your home, but others may be a bit spooked. So again, there's things you can do to make this easier. This is a situation we've had where we've introduced some conures, rescue conures, into our household. So what we did is we just kept the cages a little bit further away. It's very important if you're bringing a new bird, give them their own space. They can get territorial if you introduce a new bird into their own cage or too close to their cage in the room. So having the new bird's cage in another room or further away will give them that space and help stop them from getting too scared. Give them time to adapt again. If you have a new baby, a dog or anything, don't force them into contact. You see all these cute videos of babies and cockatiels, and most of the time it's fine, but sometimes it can go really wrong. The cockatiel can bite the baby can paw at the cockatiel. You just don't want that happening. Give them time to interact. Don't force the interactions. Again, I've got to mention predatory species. If you've got a new dog, you've got a cockatiel or a cat, don't mix them. Keep in the interactions at a very safe distance and keep the cockatiel away so it doesn't get scared, fly away or hurt itself. You can also provide them treats to help make these interactions a little bit easier. For example, when you introduce the new bird into that room in its cage, you can just give them treats when it goes in, treats when it's out, just so when it's out and about, it's a positive, not negative experience. So I briefly mentioned in a couple of the other clips in this video about supplements. There are dietary supplements you can give your cockatiel to help them relax. Now, there's two that you can give them quite a lot, and there's one you can give them very sparingly. The two you can give them a lot is chamomile. Chamomile is absolutely awesome for cockatiels and other parrots for helping them calm down. I've got some avian tea which contains chamomile and other sorts of lovely ingredients. This is from Holly's Natural Parrot Boutique. I've mentioned this product in a couple of other videos. I'm not sponsored in any way, we just really like it. But this is awesome to just give them either as a tea, dried or wet, and it can help them calm down in stressful situations. Hemp seed is also another great calming supplement you can give your birds. Now, hemp seed is something you can give them quite often in their diet. However, I would like to mention it is quite high in fat, so while you could, it's not like dangerous or anything, you should give it sparingly and not every single day. I know it's a bit contradictory, but you know, so again, it's safe to use for them, completely fine, but it's high in fat, so do moderate how much you give them. But anyway, hemp seed is quite calming as a supplement. It's very good, it's just like chamomile, it has a calming effect on them, and it can be something you can give them if they're going through a stressful period. Now, I've got a supplement here called Guardian Angel. You can also give them something called Pro. Now, these supplements should be used sparingly, and they're designed to help very stressed or under pressure birds. These supplements contain probiotics, prebiotics, and a multitude of vitamins. Now, these are very good for supporting your bird during stressful times. And I must stress, it should be used sparingly, but this is something you can give your bird if they're going through a very frightening or stressful period. I mentioned desensitization throughout my video as well. Now, desensitization is just a simple process of getting your bird used to something that might be a little bit scary to them. This can be done over time, or you can do it in sort of stop and start. So, for example, the birds are scared of mobiles. What I have to do is grab my mobile and hold it in front of their cage. It's probably best not to wave it around too much initially, but once they get more used to it, I can start waving it around, I can start showing it to them, and eventually they'll get less scared of it because they're desensitized to it. You can also reinforce them with treats through this desensitization. So every time they don't get scared, or even if they do, just give them a treat, make sure that it's a positive experience, so they start associating it as something positive. And it's something you can do as a routine thing, and slowly they'll get used to loud noises, things they might be scared of, that sort of thing. I hope you found this video useful, and some of the tips might be useful in helping your parrot or cockatiel if they have a scary situation. If you have any comments, I'd love to hear from you. Please leave them below. And in the meantime, I hope you have a great day, take care, and thanks for watching.